it's a good place to start, bro. Man, welcome to episode of Respect My Gamer podcast. I am your host, Elements MC.
Comedic 7 right here.
And your man Kane is 007. Back
Zero
at it
zero
again.
seven.
007 back at it again.
007.
I don't do the 007 because it's just leaning too far into it.
Why not? You put it up there.
Hey, look, this wasn't a choice, man. It chose me.
It was a choice.
It was thrust upon me.
No, it wasn't. You took the time out. You took the
Some
time out to
people-
create a username.
A new challenger has appeared.
I did.
Oh,
I took the
wait a
time
minute.
out to
Wait a minute.
back
We-
at
we-
it again. Get it again.
have-
Oh, almost, man. Is she it? Yeah. No.
It's-
Yes.
Well,
No.
I mean, it's a pretty picture, you know.
That's my
I
sister.
don't know. Yeah,
That's my sister.
yeah.
That's your wife.
Yeah, that's my wife. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
1,500 years. Yeah.
1,500?
Like it's been that many?
1,500?
15 years. No,
He said 1,500. He didn't say 15. He said 1,500. You heard the 100. I heard it.
Yeah. What's the name? Emotep. We're gonna take it back to the Asante family. Yeah, 1,500 years.
Wow.
You want to go back that far?
Wow.
Man. Well, yeah, man. We'll. I'm assuming she's going to join. You know, once our offspring turns off. When he turns off the energy, then she'll join.
You know,
So
sometimes
I'm here. He's just not gonna let me be on camera
that's
because
okay.
nobody needs to see his bird chest right now. So
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing I don't know how to describe you, Gina, but she's just a wonderful person. She's a gamer herself. She works with teens at the library. She's a librarian. She's a many different things. But for this episode, she is definitely a well-respected gamer. So I just want to introduce my wife, our good friend Regina. Welcome to the episode.
welcome to Respect My Gamer. You know, a lot of people don't realize this, but she really is a online Red Dead bully. If you've ever seen her play Red Dead, it's a spectacular thing to watch. And I don't think anybody else plays it like her. And I appreciate it because she understands how I get down. And
I just feel like it's the best way to respect Lenny for who he was in the game, for what he was as a black man that brought up lynching and all kind of other things in the game. I just feel like you need a black character that's just gonna run around and create mayhem in the middle of the Wild West and
vengeance.
snipe people.
Wait, what?
On behalf of the black and indigenous peoples of that time, I just feel like it's necessary.
Yeah, I agree.
Vengeance.
I agree. Speaking of vengeance, let's go ahead and discuss a very, I guess you could say very controversial.
The Travis mockery.
Hey now.
Slow down.
Let us intro first before you go rogue now.
Right.
That's first off, going rogue is my job. Don't be coming here stepping on my job.
Travesty,
Yeah.
shame.
You gotta let us intro it first.
Yeah.
Travesty.
Yeah. You know what? Hold on. Okay. Maybe slow it down. Okay. Let's take a step back. Okay. Look.
Let's start from the beginning.
Okay. Yeah. Gina, we have a question for you. If you had to pick any video game character that was a good fit for who you are in real life. Like it fits your personality, fits your outlook on life. You know, what video game character would that be?
Just throw me right in the deep end, why don't you?
Yeah, no, yeah, we got the
Initiation.
yeah.
Trial by fire.
There's a few, but I will say it changes often for me. I actually like games where I can create the character to be me, so I don't really subscribe to feeling like any particular character is indicative of me. Like even with Red Dead or anything like that, I create a character that's gonna do the ridiculous things that I would do, as opposed to the other way around. So
Okay, well, how about this? Like, what is there a game where there's a character you created that would fit the topic?
this one might be a little off for you guys because it's not console, it's PC. But honestly,
I already knew she was gonna say The Sims. I knew it. As soon as he said a world, for the listeners and viewers, yet another game that I have yet to see anybody other than my wife play like that. The Sims, they create entire worlds where you sit there and watch it like it's a reality show. I'll be like, what are they gonna do next? Oh, that's pretty good. They played it so much that at some point when they put it on console, me and Frank got it because we were like, let's try it.
Right.
But then we're ridiculous. So we're not.
The console is never going to let you do what you can do on the PC, and that's why that's probably the one that I would identify with the most. Is because when you play on the PC, you broke. Put the cheat code in. Type ka-ching. Now you got 1,000 simoleons.
Not the cheat code.
Hey, sometimes. First off, let's not all act like after we beat any Grand Theft, we didn't run with all cheat codes just because it was fun.
Sometimes you just want a tank to drop down. That's all I'm saying.
Last week,
you're right.
In this very house, cleaning old notebooks, I found where we had written down our Grand Theft cheat codes from like 2004. So
San Andreas, yeah, we went in San Andreas.
Man,
I still got a notebook. So I still got a notebook.
Yeah.
You know, Grand Theft 5 lets you be lazy. You can save them in the phone and just click them in the game.
Right.
Now the danger comes in having 5 stars and having to re-put a code in. That's what you need. That's where the skill comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right when you get to pay and spray and the cop is right on you. And you need to hurry up before they catch you in the pay and spray, or when the game kind of glitches and you come out of pay and spray and they see you too fast before they stop blinking, and then you got to go all the way right back in there.
Right back in the same spot.
Hey, you know what that level of pressure remind me of? Got it. Devil May 2.
See, wait, first off, I always get worried every time you say, you know what something remind me of, and then you say my name. I was like, wait, I wasn't there. What part of Devil May 2?
I forgot where I was, but like you and Lewis had to remind me about the the devil trigger.
Oh, to use your devil trigger.
Because I was going through the whole game with I only had one hit left to kill me, and I was still crushing everything.
So everyone who has ever played Devil May Cry knows that if your health gets low, you turn on the devil trigger and you heal while you're fighting. He didn't remember that he had a transformation until
how much I used the transformation, don't it?
He infuriated me and Lewis. It's like, push the button and heal. We're tired of looking at your life bar blink.
But I was still going though.
We was just sick of looking at it. We was tired of it. Hit the button so we can stop looking at the little blink.
I was at Ultra Instinct before they made that.
I'm mad. He responded but I'm not a rapper. That's how he responded. But I'm not a rapper.
But I was live though.
Hey, look, but speaking of Grand Theft Auto, like that's actually uh, the character from San Andreas, uh, like CJ. I feel like that's who I remember my life like after. That's a character that I will fall into like just to see like man he's just he's coming back home. He's trying to figure out what's going on with somebody killed his mom. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to put all the pieces back together, and he just gets caught up in stuff that really you don't know what situation that could put him in, but he just sees like I guess he's just trying to help out people. You know what I'm saying? He just want to be helpful. So if you want to go out in the woods and help out this fake Willie Nelson, hippie, you know what I'm saying? like burn down a whole crop of marijuana with it. I don't know, but it's like, yeah, he'd be like, all right, cool, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So CJ, I feel like that's a good that's who I would be, you know. But man.
Kind of sad, Barry.
Hey, look, his ain't as bad as mine.
Polo CJ just kept getting roped into all kind of foolishness the whole game.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how my life
It's called
goes.
life. I'm like, that's life.
That's how my life goes. I just keep getting roped into stuff like I didn't ask for this. But you need help? Cool. I like to see the good in people.
See, look, Frankie getting ready to blame us for something again. Look at him. I see it in his eyes.
I wasn't gonna blame.
You're like these two right here. You know these two? Always be
You
us.
know what? I did blame y'all a few days ago, didn't I? Right.
Twice.
Yeah, I blamed y'all.
And that time it wasn't even our fault. It was our big brother that started it.
You all are a package deal.
We just filmed it.
Y'all stupid.
We just be there. We just be in the back of the room trying to see what's going on. We don't be there starting nothing.
Yeah, so CJ here. I'm over here helping smoke and sweets over here.
Wait, which one of smoke though? Because see, in the meeting, in the meeting, our orientation on our screen different than y'all. So I don't know where you pointed. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Which one I am? Say a name. No. I don't know what that don't mean nothing to me.
You know what? No, you whatever. I ain't trying to point. Y'all just whatever. But yeah. So.
Gina, his ain't as bad as I was Cole McGrath, all right? I identify with Cole McGrath.
And who is this?
So his ain't sad at all. His is normal. Cole McGrath is the main character of this very successful game called Infamous, where you basically ends up being the electric rage monster at some point in the game. And depending on how you interact with the people in the game and the choices you make, you can get the good ending, usually when you hear good, the other option is bad. But no, it was the good or the evil ending. And let's just say that it was very difficult for me to get the good ending the first time through, but I did it, and I was very proud of myself. But I went right back to the evil. Well, we know you did.
I didn't get it the first time through.
You didn't get it the second time either. Evil.
Or the third. It was four.
Evil.
Evil.
But character I chose was Fei Fong Wong from this game Xenogears.
Xenogears. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that game, but
It's a PS1 RPG. Squaresoft, same people who do Final Fantasy 7 and all of that.
mm-hmm.
Them.
Yeah,
Okay.
But
it's a nice RPG with a whole lot of giant mechs in it.
yeah.
Sounds
Mechs,
about right.
like gigantic mechs in religion.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was, yeah.
It was a weird mix, but it somehow worked.
If I remember correctly, it had like every religion in it. It wasn't just like a certain one. It was like all of them.
I mean, yeah, just about. They had like they had the Walmart Great Value names though.
That's a great value name. Oh wow.
Instead of Buddhism, it's Buddhism.
The signature select names.
Right.
Off-brand cereal names.
You talking about Signature Select?
I got time in.
That's terrible. Oh man.
But yeah, but he's sort of kind of like CJ in a way. They just gave him kung fu and a gigantic robot to solve his problems.
Oh.
He did have a lot of the same issues. He kept getting roped into doing things. He wasn't trying to be involved in nothing.
He really didn't.
And they kept getting it.
So basically you saying you know kung fu and you got a robot? So you know? Oh.
Yep.
Giant robot.
Giant robot.
Cool.
All I do is thump daydreaming from Lupe whole day.
Mm. Yeah.
Giant robot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why you stay far away. That's why you stay far away, sir. That's good to know. That's good to know. So, you think about all these characters that we've used example of. It's funny how you follow along their journey and their timeline, and you just kind of like just witness what they get involved with. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of just want to take that idea and talk about a controversial game that came out. It's been out for about almost 2 months now. The Last of Us Part 2.
Let me hold on. Let me give a disclaimer for anybody who is listening and watching. Spoiler alert, because we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some things.
You had 2 months. Get it together. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
I should have known by now.
Should have known. So, but hey,
you don't know.
Now you know. You will know in a minute.
Right.
So, now for anybody that doesn't know and doesn't care about spoilers, the story of The Last of Us is about this. It's a story about. It starts off with a guy named Joel, and they live in Texas. State of Texas. Whatever. And he has a daughter named Sarah, and they chill. I know it's his birthday. He just got off work, and it's his birthday, and so Sarah tries surprise him with a cake or whatever. All of a sudden, Joe falls asleep watching TV, and he wakes up. He can't find Sarah. He can't find his daughter, and then all of a sudden you see, she's like he's looking around the house, and he finds her. Now, well, or is it that
it's the other way around?
It's the other way around. Okay, so Sarah.
Yeah, so Sarah gives her father a very heartfelt gift. She saved all her money for his birthday. She presents him with a watch.
Mm.
Now, this right here lets you know that they're setting you up for failure in your heart, in your brain, because they only do things like this in any story to take it away from you later. This heartfelt moment, oh, that was great. Remember it, because that's all you got.
Yeah.
So she wakes up. She hears noise outside. It's a bunch of mayhem. She goes looking through the house for her dad. And then she kind of stumbles across him as he's coming back into the house in a distressed state of mind, to say the least.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
he had to get ready to murk the neighbor who
Yep,
has gone
'cause-
crazy.
yep.
Because everybody has gone crazy. Because pandemic. Let's be honest. Pandemic.
Yeah.
Wait, and the best kind of pandemic, a zombie one, basically.
Yeah, basically. And the Last of Us Part 2, the first one, it came out with 20, I want to say 2014,
Yeah.
2013, 2014. So basically, Joel and his daughter, they have to leave the house, after Joel was forced to kill his neighbor. So Joel links up with his brother, Tommy, and they all get in the car and they start leaving the house. And they're talking about what's going on. There's all this mayhem on the radio and about this virus that hit. And they head to downtown and it's crowded. All the cars are backed up. And then all of a sudden, you see these zombie, types running out the hospital, taking people out of their cars, beating them up, and all types of things. So basically, they detour down another street. They get hit by a car. Joel wakes up, realizing he has to get out the car. They start running, and they're avoiding people. They're avoiding car crashes and zombies, all this stuff. They get to a point right outside of downtown. They come across the military, and the military they're taking their orders. The guy said, he finds two civilians. What do you want me to do? And the military officer ends up shooting at Joel and Sarah, which ends up killing Sarah. This is how the game starts. The game starts like this.
This is just the first 10 minutes.
The first 10 minutes. And by the way, the game is created by Naughty Dog, who also is well known for Uncharted series and Crash Bandicoot series.
Which totally, like, The Last of Us and Crash the Bandicoot is like completely different spectrum.
Right. Yeah, completely. Yeah, you would never know that they were made the same game. So,
yet I enjoyed both.
I did.
I still play Crash Bandicoot on Uncharted.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's right.
Last Uncharted, you can indeed play Crash Bandicoot on a PlayStation 1.
Yep.
Very, very meta of them.
Man, talk about fan service.
Right.
To the max.
To the max.
But you should just go on YouTube and just watch, because Naughty Dog is also good at doing things that are basically very cinematic. So you just go on YouTube and watch The Last of Us and get your heart ripped out and go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Terrible about humanity, all of that. Be grateful that the pandemic we're living in is not the one that they're living through.
Yeah.
All of that good stuff. Go ahead, go to YouTube, live all that out, and then you'll be as pissed as I am about this travesty of a sequel that they gave us.
That's a word.
Yeah.
It's a word now.
Right.
Yeah. Because Last of Us was already one thing. It's an emotional roller coaster. You get to Last of Us Part 2. And
yeah.
Yeah, so if you all like the main characters in the game is Joel and Ellie. Ellie is when you first meet her in the first game, she's about 13 or 14.
You know what? Real quick,
14.
as y'all are watching this, like when y'all watch this, if you haven't played Last of Us 2, like the first one, hit pause. Go watch a recap first. Y'all need to be caught up to speed to properly understand where she's coming from with her anger on this.
Yes.
And also to properly understand where my anger does not lie. Because of this. Because me and Regina on different ends of the spectrum. Like, I'm Crash the Bandicoot on this, and she is the last of us. That's how far off on spec. Like I enjoyed the roller coaster, but I also am a bit of a masochist. So
right now.
So we go press play now that y'all are caught up, and
press play.
Here we go.
So Ellie, this is about 6 years since the first game, so she's about 19, and she's been through a lot. She's at this point right now where she's trying to rebuild this relationship with Joel, who basically has become her father.
Her father.
So many ways, and Ellie has become Joel's daughter. Like it's just been one of them type of things that's happened. They've been through a lot since the first Last of Us game. They've been through a whole lot. So
Right.
now,
Now,
point,
now, also remember what we said about how the first game started.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
they take those first 10 minutes and they just say, "Give me your soul.
turn it
It's
to
mine."
1,000.
Yeah. So if you all familiar with the beginning of part two,
It's mine.
uh, you know, there's this girl, lady named Abby, and you don't really get any backstory on her. You know, at the beginning of the game,
I
you know,
got real beef.
she just kind of comes in and you discover that she's with this group that's kind of outside of where Joel and Ellie and them are staying, and all of a sudden, her and one of the guys in the group, they kind of get into a disagreement. She storms off. She feels like I gotta go find him, whatever, and she comes across. Uh, they don't call them zombies; they call them runners in the game, and she comes across them, and she ends up getting saved by Joel and his brother Tommy.
Joel and Tommy.
So they end up helping her, and she's like, and they're like, well, it's snowing real hard. It's the winter time. They're in Salt Lake City, I believe, or yeah, I think Salt Lake City. I'm not sure, but so they're trying to find some refuge, like from the snow and all the runners. She and Abby says, hey, we got a place where y'all can go. Come with me. So they get there.
She said she
And
got
Joe,
a place. She finally got a place.
yeah, and Joe and Tommy, they're like, okay, cool. And then Joe's looking around like, hey, why y'all looking at me like that? One of the guys from Abby's group shoots Joe with a 12 gauge shotgun in his leg.
Yeah.
Blew the leg off.
Kneecap.
Leg gone.
Shredded.
Now, while this is going on, Ellie is with her friend Dina, and they're all going.
We ain't got to say friend no more. That's a
Everybody
girlfriend.
know.
That's a
Right.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
Everybody
her,
know.
Dina,
lady.
it's her girlfriend. They're off on this mission to search for.
They're not on a mission. They're doing
No,
that
they were.
running.
Well,
They're
they
running around. It's
well
to make sure to keep
originally
everything safe.
originally they were supposed to be going to check the outpost because they was on
Right.
patrol, and they
Right.
were supposed to be clearing out runners as they came across them to make sure nothing made it back to the town that they have as their camp.
And
Right.
then they decided, let's take a pause and bust down and smoke some weed. And that just happened right, unfortunately, before they realized, oh, snap, Joel is missing. So now we got to deal with, are we going to get there in time? Because I just did an entire first game with Joel. So he's basically my dad too. And I'm nervous and I'm running as Ellie. And Naughty Dog was supposed to let me make it there on time.
Oh, come on now.
And
Did
Naughty
you
Dog
see,
said,
Gina? You
do you
forgot.
remember how much you liked Sarah? Do you remember how much you cared about Sarah in that first 5 minutes of the game? Yeah. We're turning that up to 50. And we're doing it to you again.
Now,
Yeah.
here's
That's
the
what Naughty Dog says right at the beginning.
here's the
Get into
crazy
the
part.
meat of this and how much Naughty Dog doesn't care about us.
So, Gina,
Right here is
Had
where
a
my
different-
beef starts.
but see, Gina had a different outlook than me because for her, the connection was Joel is my dad. For me, the connection was I am Joel. Get here and help me. It was like my daughter better get here. That's all. I mean, let's be the main character. First name is actually my middle name.
Oh my God.
Have a different connection. I was like, not me.
Not the kid.
Remember what I did for you in the first one? You don't remember all that? I raised you right. Come and get me.
All right.
We
so-
savages out here. Come and get me.
Yeah.
Right
So,
about here.
so,
It's
so,
like,
so at this point, Ellie finds Joel getting beat to death by Abby, the person that they just saved, and we're just
This
like,
new person that we don't care about.
we don't care about, that we
or
had to
we
play with, that we had to play with for at least like 5, 10 minutes herself. We had to play with her. We had to play as her. And now you're just saying, oh, this is how we're gonna end Joel? Really? We just gonna do this, and we're gonna make Ellie and Tommy watch?
Didn't even
look,
get a Warriors death.
once again,
And
if
this
y'all played the first game,
is
they just killed off Danny Tanner.
basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And made Uncle Jesse watch.
The thing that pissed me off about it, and I'm gonna say it because I was pissed off from the beginning of the game. And this is another spoiler alert. And if you don't like spoilers, then you're in the wrong place. So goodbye.
Hey, look, we warned them before we started. If they
Right.
still here,
Yeah.
that's on them.
As mentioned, I'm a librarian. I collect the video games. I curate the video games and graphic novels for the library where I work. One of the series that I read diligently is The Walking Dead. And for those who don't know, this past year, they ended the Walking Dead book series. The very last book of The Walking Dead, we lose Rick Grimes.
Mm-hmm.
And when we lose Rick Grimes, he doesn't get killed by a walker. He doesn't get killed by Negan or the governor. He gets killed by a nobody. And it pisses you off because you've been riding with this man for literal years. And they let him get taken down by a nobody. And that is how I felt with The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know you, Abby. I don't care about you, Abby. Even if I can kind of infer what your beef with Joel is. Because if you watched the first one or played the first one and you got any kind of, imagination, you can kind of guess there's only one of two reasons why somebody would have it out for Joel. Either A, they crossed his path when he was a smuggler and you were pissed about something he did then, or B, you knew that he went and shot up all the fireflies at the end of the first one and you got beef about that. So you can kind of infer what her problem is. Don't make me care about her, though. It doesn't make me care about her. I have no sympathy for you, girlfriend. None. And now you've made this nobody take down the very character who I was riding with the entire first game.
But you know what's a kick to that though? What was he? He became like a father figure, right?
Yep.
And they did this on Father's Day.
Yes. Game came out. Yep.
Just to twist the knife. Just to twist the knife.
That's because they don't really care about us for real. But here's the issue.
The Last of Us don't care about mothers either. So The Last of Us don't care about fathers or mothers.
Or mother, they don't care about
or
anybody.
children. They only wait, and they just barely care about babies.
A little bit about babies.
They definitely don't care about horses. They kill them all the time in this game.
Or dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just don't care. Okay, cool.
How about that on International
They really
Dog
don't.
Day?
Right.
Well, I mean, I when that happened, I was like confused, but the thing is, I knew at a certain point, okay, you got to explain this. Like you got to explain why is this happening. So you end up, and I guess you fast forward not too far, where, after they bury Joel and because Abby and the group let Ellie and Tommy go, even though the rest of the group wanted to kill him, but they let him go. So they bury Joel, and then few days later, I'm not sure how far after they, Tommy says, I'm finna go after her. Get that. I'm going after her. So Ellie is like, damn, well, I gotta go too. And then Dina
No,
was
no,
like,
no. See, you giving too much benefit of the doubt. It wasn't no damn. It was me and Tommy going to get her. And Tommy left early because he was trying to spare her from doing
right,
that. She
right,
was about that life from jump. Oh, come get me in the morning because we out here.
right, right.
and and Buddy was like, I can't let her do it. I got to do this by myself. And he snuck out.
Yeah. So Ellie was like,
Yet
okay,
another
well.
mistake.
So Ellie was like, well, I gotta go. And Dina was like, well, I'm going with you. Dina's baby daddy was like, well, I gotta go too. You know what I'm saying?
But no,
So
the messed up part, his gotta go too happened later on. It was like, what y'all doing here? Oh yeah.
right, right.
Did you find Tommy? Tommy who? We out here killing people. Who talking about Tommy?
Man,
We out here doing what he doing. We follow his
Man.
trail of bodies and leaving our own trail of bodies.
you're on this vengeance path with Ellie. I gotta go after the person that killed my dad. I gotta go. She gotta go. And you at that point, they're in Seattle at this point, and it's just it's a nonstop, straightforward ride of I gotta get her, and anybody that's in my way is gonna catch
Gotta
it the
get
worst
it.
way possible. And it literally
Anybody
happens
can
in the
get
game.
it.
Anybody can get it, and anybody got it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So she's on a mission, and then it's like uh, it's just so much that goes on between the point where she's at trying to get to her, to get to Abby. Like she comes across these other this other group in the game called they call them Scars. They call them they're Seraphites, but they call them Scars, and they have a weird backstory that's not really explained in full detail. But I'm sure that
They're a religious cult.
they're a religious cult, but you know they have this figure, this woman that's kind of that the person that they follow. But all the while,
Which makes
Tis
sense
their
for a
Messiah.
post-apocalyptic game. With a post-apocalyptic game, you're always going to see the different factions of what people are going to have to do to continue to want to live. So you have people like Ellie and Joel and Tommy and their little community where they were able to come up with a sense of normalcy. And so that gave them the drive to live.
Yeah.
And then you have the Seraphites where they come up with their own religion that feels strongly that technology and the breadth of technology is what caused humanity to collapse. And so they're very anti-technology, very, very anti, established political order, all of that. Their main focus is on religion and trying to get back to basics because they feel that those are the things that made society fall. And then you have Abby and her people who are in some ways a hybrid of those who've lived under military rule and those who've been in, neo-military groups like the
They're the militia. They're
Yeah.
literally the militia.
Right.
So you have these three different types of people trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic world, which is always going to be the case because people are going to need something to hold on to keep living.
Keep their sanity. Or
Yeah.
what they vein as a type of sanity.
Yeah.
right?
And then you have all three of those things, which if they worked together, could have brought society back around. But at that point, everybody's so scared and jaded. And you still have the pandemic going on. This sounds awful familiar.
Craziest part about it is that the Seraphites or the Scars basically are the ones that was like, hey, we used to be wolves. That's what they are. We used to be wolves. Why are we out here? Why are we out here pretending we in society? Let's be out here hunting. Let's hunt. And that's literally what they did. They was out there in the woods hunting. It's just the people. What they were hunting was people.
Decided we're not going to follow behind this militia group that's calling themselves the wolves that we don't trust what they're doing anyway. So let's just go back to basics and just really be that. If that's what we're going to do, then let's just do it.
I mean, their choice of weaponry is the bow and arrow and axes. Like
Yeah,
I like they
anything
have
that people
guns. They got
Yeah, they
guns,
had.
but
Yeah,
their primary choice.
yeah, majority of the time you was going some old school warfare with them, guerrilla
Right.
tactics at that too.
I mean, they even communicated but with whistling.
quiet. You wanted something that was very, very earthy and moving as a pack. They
Right.
move as a pack. They identify with each other the way that animals or insects do, like cicadas or something like that. So they were very much an
Hmm.
interesting subgroup to introduce into the game, because in the first game you don't really get a lot of experience of seeing what this pandemic has done to the world outside of living in military rule. So you don't really see what the other cities are like, what the other towns are like, what the other experiences are. So it was nice for them to introduce it. But also, I waited a whole lot of years for this sequel, Naughty Dog. And you just were like, let me just put some things in a bowl and stir it up. And here you go. And just eat this. Dissatisfied. I'd say
I enjoyed my meal.
I
I enjoyed it too.
I
Hey,
I
enjoyed my meal. It's
I'm
I
just
want
laughing that
my
she just
meal
equated
cooked.
this whole game to hot dogs and porky beans.
I want my meal cooked. I do. I do.
what your
I
meal
do.
got.
The few here is my very, very short list of things that I enjoyed about this game. Number one, there are at least, shameless plug, 4 libraries featured in this game.
True.
Very true to life versions of libraries, also, if I may add. So I really respected and appreciated that. You can also find the Seattle Public Library in all of its glory if you look while you're traveling in Seattle. Beautiful, wonderful, great. Also, I really enjoyed, and it sounds terrible, but when Ellie would snipe somebody or get up behind somebody for something, she would just do a real quick shut up, and it was perfect. And I was like, yeah, girl, murk 'em. That is pretty much, well, no, I did enjoy some of the scenery. So finding the aquarium, Joel taking the flashback where Joel takes Ellie to the science museum, all of those things I think were beautifully done. I think all of the storylines that showed how much of a father Joel had become to Ellie, all of those things were beautifully done. And the game really does do a good job of showing what unresolved grief looks like, because
that
everybody in the
yeah.
game is dealing with some level of grief that they have not dealt with. Even Ellie and her anger with Joel is because she's grieving the fact that she wanted her life to mean something, and for Joel to make the decision for her about whether or not the Fireflies could use her as the cure for this pandemic and this virus was something that she didn't have a chance to make a decision about herself. And so she didn't get to mourn it. So she was just angry. And that anger kept fueling her anger at Joel, when really she wasn't mad at Joel. She was just mad at, like, okay, so I'm immune. What does that mean? I'm
Well,
immune, but it don't mean nothing. I'm just gonna watch everybody else die. What is this gonna do?
And I
So
think that's
never got resolved either. Everybody was angry and never got. Everybody needed a therapist.
well, see, that's also where that
Yeah.
was my slight problem with the unresolved issue with Joel that it had. Under she's a kid, she's young, and I understand that, but she wasn't going to have a choice either way, because the other choice was you had been put in anesthesia and you were just going to die. So I ride with Joel on his choice because it was selfish. It was, but it was a thing of I've lost so much already, and now I have grown this attachment and this bond with this person, and they're gonna take this from me, and I'm not allowing it. I'm
I'll
not
be.
allowing it. I got a second chance at being a good father, and I ain't going. First thing you do as a father is make sure your children live. I'm just saying, protect them at all costs.
And he made
Well,
a beautiful, selfish decision that most of us who've played the first one didn't even give the game a chance to tell us whether or not we had a choice.
Didn't
That was
hesitate.
instantly the choice that we made. It was like, we're killing
Yeah.
everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody got to go. Most people that I've talked to that have played the game were like, I didn't even know
Didn't hesitate.
that the game was going to just make me do it anyway, because my first thought was, I'm shooting that doctor. I'm shooting the doctor. I'm shooting nurses. I'm getting up out of here. Period.
Gina,
and
I didn't even know there was a cut scene in the operating room until the second game when they showed it in flashback. Because I walked in and shot him in his head immediately. He didn't have a chance to react. He died as soon as I entered the room, and so did everyone else, and we was out.
For the mere fact that you were going to dissect my child, you got to go. There's nothing you need to talk to me about. There's no way to reason with me. There's no way to explain to me. There's no questions. There's no explanations. You got to go. And your nurses too. Everybody got to go. Nobody
well,
can
that's a good point right there, where I would like to say, okay, well, how do you feel about that the roles are reversed? Because you look at Joe, and he's like, he loses his daughter, you know what I'm saying, and he's forced to pretty much take on this young girl, like, that's basically, which is supposed to be a mission. You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to just smuggle her to wherever they was going, but then you later found out, oh, well, she's immune to the virus and all this stuff going on, and he's taking on this responsibility of this person. How do you look at it from a different perspective? And I know it's harder to do it because we basically been introduced to Joel from the beginning, but we look at Abby, and you look at it from the perspective of, okay, she's like trying to deal with the trauma of losing her father, who happened to be the surgeon that was going to work on Ellie. Like, it's not a fair thing, but it's like,
listen. Who we shot instantly.
The one we shot in the face.
And even with this information, I don't care about Abby's feelings. I was still going to shoot that doctor in the face. And I think that's the thing, though. I think that's part of the frustration that some people have with this game, is that it's like the game is trying to force you, in some of our opinion, to feel for what the other side must be dealing with. And in many cases,
there's one of my biggest problems.
You just don't care. Like, for every decision, there's an alternate decision. For every side that someone is on, there's somebody on another side. So, yeah, the minute he killed everybody in there, when you're playing the game, you know the stakes. You know Ellie is the cure. You know him getting rid of all the fireflies means that the whole world is without a cure, or they're going to have to figure something else out. But you don't care. You make that decision anyway. And the game knows you're going to make that decision anyway. So for them to take the second game and try to make you empathize with Abby and look, her dad was saving zebras. I don't care. I was still going to shoot him. I don't care.
But right, but you only feel that. Do you only feel like that because you've already went through the story, a good portion of the story, as Joel and Ellie?
I don't know, because like I've said, and I've said this to Jabari, but as I said before, in terms of this game reminding me of The Walking Dead. When you watch The Walking Dead or read The Walking Dead, you have an inclination to follow Rick Grimes because he's who you are experiencing all of this with. He's who you wake up in the zombie apocalypse with. He's who you're surviving with. He's who you're, watching these decisions change and alter him. And so you trust him implicitly because you're experiencing everything with him. And when you meet characters like the governor or Negan, you're instantly like, they're the bad guy because Rick's the good guy. Right. But if you were riding with Negan from the beginning, which there is a Negan backstory that you can read, and you see Negan's story, you kind of see that if you had been riding with Negan from the beginning, you probably would have felt the same way about Rick. You would have been like, Rick's the bad guy.
Exactly.
But what you have to realize is in any story and in life, no one is the villain of their own story.
No, they're always the hero. They're
So
always
for
together.
Abby, this man came in here and killed my only family member, and he has to pay, which is basically the theme of the second game to me was a endless cycle of vengeance and the consequences when you seek that vengeance. That's all it was. It was an endless cycle of rinse, repeat murder to try to fill a void that's been left in your life that you can't fill by killing somebody.
Right.
It was like,
Now, Frank, what was you saying about
all right, well, like ultimately, for one, it's like I would see it completely as Gotti do, but I don't appreciate that they make you spend the rest of the game hating that man or like trying to get you to hate him.
Exactly.
It would be completely different if she just did the deed and just flat out say it like, what y'all expect? You kill my pops. But they try to make you full, like, you know what I'm saying?
But
It's
see,
And they do a good job of it. Like
no,
they try
not
to
at
make
all.
you side with Abby without really giving Abby any redeeming qualities other than saving the Seraphite kid. Like there's nothing about, even when you get the flashback of the night that would have been Ellie's last night, and you see Abby talking to her father, and her father is the one who has heart, who has care, who has concern. He's the one out here saving the zebra and trying to do things and trying to make smart decisions and conscious ones. Meanwhile, Abby is out there to find him like, look, you messing it up. You need to come sit down somewhere. Like she's not this positive, encouraging daughter. She's trying to restrain him from being this overly loving,
but
whimsical kind of dad that he was. And then when he does question, maybe I shouldn't do this because this young girl would have to give her life just so that we can get this cure. Her first thing is, well, Dad, if it was me, I want you to do it. Well, it ain't you. So I can't side with, like, there was no redeeming quality about Abby that made me feel sad and sorry enough for her for me to be like, I'm really sorry you lost your dad. I don't care, girl. You still was kind of a jerk when you had a dad. Like
see, this
losing
is
your dad didn't make you the jerk. You were kind of a jerk from go.
but that's why,
Now
like
you just a
in
tight
the
smaller jerk.
story, I do feel the reason why they were villainizing Joe for her story is because he's the villain of her story.
Well, yeah,
So that was understandable to me
right.
that they
yeah,
villainize.
yeah, I understand
He
that.
is the villain of her story. This is the
Yeah.
man who tore down everything that she had, and the fact that when you talking about her demeanor as a kid, she grew up in the militarized world. She grew up as a military kid. She was being trained as a soldier as a child. She's a child soldier. She's in Papua New Guinea right now. That's what she was. She's being
Yeah.
groomed to be a militia member, not a. See, he was a doctor. When trained as a doctor, you're supposed to save life. So he's still going to have that piece of his humanity. But think about being a child and being groomed to be a soldier as a child, is going to be a piece of that humanity to shut off that you have to gain back. And they tried to give that back by introducing Lev and her paying attention to, okay, they're just like me. They're just out here trying to survive, and making her rationale with that. I don't think they did quite as good of a job as they could have done with that. But I understood, to me, I understood how they told the story and relating to how Joe was the villain of her story. It still didn't make me side with her, but I understood her reasons for her vengeance.
But I agree in terms of the whole thing being what vengeance can do to you when you have unresolved grief and when you feel like you're not going to be able to soothe it unless you get your revenge. And the game does another, I guess, since people like to use the word beautiful when they refer to this game, I'll be generous and use it. It does a beautiful job of showing that nothing that you do outside of sitting with those feelings is going to actually make you feel better. You can kill all of the people, all the dogs. You kill all the walkers or whatever you want to call them. You could do all of that, and it was still only when Ellie was sitting still playing the guitar, only when Abby was sitting still thinking about her relationships did they get any sort of peace. The whole time they were going after what they felt was going to give them peace, they couldn't get any rest. The minute Ellie sat down with the guitar and let herself remember, I was being a real jerk to my dad, and I'm sorry that he's gone before I could really mend it. That was the only time you ever saw her really cry. That was the only time you ever saw her really breathe, even sleep, because everything else was so vengeance fueled that she couldn't even get any rest. So I think the game does do a good job of showing that. But for us to have waited so long for a sequel and have been so committed to the Joel Ellie storyline, it felt almost like a disservice. Like you cut us off in the middle of a sentence. Like we needed to see the closure between Joel and Ellie, not just the fact that she kind of forgave him a little bit the night before he died.
It would have helped, yeah, but as you go back to talk about The Walking Dead, they don't care about how you feel about people. They will literally say, hey, yeah, you like this person? Cool.
Dead.
Say bye-bye. Dead. They don't care because the whole point of this environment, this is an environment where this virus has taken over. And it's you don't know where this virus came from. You don't know what the purpose of it is, but it's taken over, and it leads people down this path of survival. And when when you're doing everything you need to do to survive, there is no moral compass really. It's just about, oh, I gotta survive. You know what I'm saying? So even while Joel was a smuggler, between the transition, like the 20-year fast forward on the first game, at the beginning of the first game to like when you start to get into it, the game, it's a 20-year gap. You don't know what happened in those 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Joel, he's working with the Fireflies, he's smuggling guns, drugs, you never know. So it's like, even at that point,
you do know he didn't test with smuggling drugs. You do.
Right, yeah. But the thing is, you know it, but at the same time, you don't care about it as much because you were just introduced to 10 minutes of Joel losing his daughter. So it don't matter. He could have killed anybody, been in the wrong. It don't matter because you just saw what you saw in the first 10 minutes.
Listen,
he lost the only thing that mattered to him in this world within the first 10 minutes. I expected him to have an eye patch, gray hair, and be driving a truck with barbed wire all around it after that.
Walking around looking every bit like Solid Snake, and I would have been like, I agree.
I can believe it.
Yeah. Because
that's how Big Boss starts.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the thing is, now I want to say that the ending of this game, part 2, it was very much anticlimactic for me. I was like, "Damn, that's it."
Yep.
We came all this way, but see, then I was disappointed. But
wait, you talking about the end battle or the end? Talking about the end or the end? Because when we talk about anticlimactic, you can count both.
Well, I don't know.
See,
I don't know.
This is where I'm different.
I'm looking at it like, once I saw the end of part 2, and think about the loading screen, right? As soon as you cut the game on, it's that boat that's floating down the water. After you beat the game, you go back to the main screen. Now the boat is docked on a beach. You know what I'm saying? To symbolize that Abby and Lev made it to Santa Barbara. You're right. So that makes you believe, okay, if you're going to end the game like this, where there's no hoorah, there's no victory, like, that means that you got some more to talk about. You know what I'm saying? And I anticipate a part 3 because like you can't just leave it there.
Oh, guarantee. Let me tell you,
it's going to be a part 3.
It's definitely going to be a part 3. Off of sales alone, it's going to be a part 3. But let me tell you this: I want a part 3, and I want a prequel because I want to know what Joe went through in 20 years. I want to know
Yep.
what made
That's
Joe
something I
the
told,
Joe
that's
that
what I
we
told Gina.
loved. And also, I feel like they did the ending the way they did to let you know fully to reinforce the fact of when you seek vengeance, sometimes you lose everything and you got to deal with them consequences. Ellie had been Abby, let her go. Don't let me see you again. Live your good life. It's been a minute because the girlfriend had the baby, named him after the dead boyfriend. They
It's
live in a
been
little farm,
it's been at least a year and a half.
right? Because baby can talk. That's all I'm saying. Baby can talk. All right. They got their farmhouse. They not even living in the community with everybody else. They got a farmhouse out there. Got their little animals walking around. Peaceful life, which is in a post-apocalyptic world an amazing thing to see. A peaceful life.
You won.
And she just, that unresolved rage and grief just keep creeping back into the back of her head. She couldn't even rest.
Yeah.
So then she
Yeah.
leaves because, well, let's say it right. Then Tommy come with his limping ass, still more pissed off than he was originally. Because
He come in, Wesley Snipes from White Man Can't Jump. You owe me.
he owed me. So man,
You
I
owe
look,
me.
man, this is a nice house. Hey, little boy, how you doing? This is so cute. Y'all had, this is a nice dinner y'all cooking over there. She gotta die. I mean, he literally came in there and told her, "You owe me a death."
Basically.
And you promised me this death, and you have not given me what you promised me. This woman killed my brother and maimed me for life.
Which was ridiculous because the other thing is, so the first time that we both decide we finna ride out on Abby, you are so distraught about making sure that your brother's new daughter doesn't get killed out here in these streets that you sneak out and leave me here so that you can go do it yourself. Now you want me to go out by myself with even more on the line and less help. When I went out the first time, I had the girlfriend with me, then we had the friend with us, then you was out there. Now you want me to go, now you're more angry and you want me to go by myself. Now that I've already met Abby and we definitely got bad blood on top of bad blood because I didn't kill.
She know I'm coming for her. She know I'm still out here.
Right.
Now you want me to go out by myself and you can't even help me because she done shot you in the leg.
As a matter of fact,
and the head.
As a matter of fact, Abby was looking for Tommy after she killed Joe. She still couldn't sit. She's like, we still gotta get Tommy, bro. Like how you let me go? How you let me go? And
But here's the thing.
Look for
she wasn't looking for him. She found out he was out there murking out her people, and then she went looking for him. That's what that was. He was out. He was out there using straight guerrilla tactics, hopping in and out, taking them out. They could not pin him down because you remember you spent most of the game as Ellie following his trail of destruction through the city.
Yeah,
right.
You was just a step behind on catching up to him. Had they left together, they may have been able to finish the mission efficiently and then come back and deal with their grief. But Tommy tried to save her, and she wasn't going. He should have known. But you would think that Tommy
communicated in the first place, it would have been an entirely different game. But
right. But that game would not have sold the way we wanted to. We don't want her to be out there with Tommy as a replacement, out there with her Uncle Tommy. No, we want her out there in the streets by herself. She belonged to the streets.
By herself. With a pregnant girlfriend.
Right. She belonged.
We went out there with a pregnant girlfriend.
She belonged to the streets with everything on the line. You gotta give up everything.
I gotta say, I had doubts about Dina at the beginning. But then
I didn't.
Kind of was like,
Dina.
I rides with you, Dina. I'm cold. I believe in you, girl.
And
I wasn't sure about Dina, but Gina was so sure about Jesse though. She was
Yeah,
like, Jesse
Jesse was
ain't
too
gonna make it.
sweet.
Oh,
Out the gate,
I
he was
knew.
too nice. He had too many nice thoughts. He had no problem with his best
He
friend,
had
with
a.
his best friend stealing his girl. He had no problem with, let me just follow you to Seattle on this death mission because your
Gina.
daddy
You
was
know what
good
he
to me.
was?
He was
He was
gonna
homie
die.
on Black. He was homie on Black Dynamite. That when they was storming the island, and he kept talking about, "I'm gonna settle down,
Yeah,
for the family."
Mhm.
yeah.
And then
See,
when he get popped, you like, who saw that come? Who saw where that came from? Like that,
Yeah.
for
like that was
for
something
So
right there.
you
here's
too
the thing.
happy.
Here's the thing.
He
For
was the
You
person
people,
who
enjoyed
was
it.
different
no,
than
it's not. It wasn't just that. For people like me and Gina, who was Walking Dead, if you are the moral compass,
you
your
going
life is
down.
forfeit.
You going
Your
down.
life is forfeit. You will be sacrificed.
And
Hey
the
Frank,
minute that you say something, it's Samuel Jackson in front of that wave pool. The minute you say something
First, we
that
go
you
lock these doors, and then we go
he
dead.
said, "This is water sign. How
dead.
about ice?" Look, the minute that Jesse was like, "I feel like you're getting your own way sometimes, Ellie." I was like, he gone. 2 seconds later, shot right in the face. Abby didn't even let him get out the door good. She didn't even know if that was Ellie. She didn't know if that was going to be somebody to talk to. There was no conversation. The minute that the door opened, she shot him straight in the face. He wasn't injured. He wasn't maimed. He was dead. He was dead, baby daddy, on sight, instant. I knew it. He was too nice. You have
Yeah,
no problem with your best friend stealing your girl? You have no problem with that?
Gina, they was broke up already. She didn't steal it. You can't steal
The
something that don't
very
belong
next
to somebody.
just told you after Ellie just told you, like, man, Dina was just being Dina. It was just a
She
kiss.
belonged. She belonged to the
The
streets.
streets.
She belonged to the streets.
Now, I will say that I was a little surprised at how much of a rider Dina was. Dina came through in the clutch on the regular, which was the other
Quite a bit.
reason why when Uncle Tommy came a knocking with his cane and his one eye, you should have said, "Look, bro, I understand all that, but no, I can't. I just can't." But once again, she had her own unresolved issues because she felt like she did not properly resolve things with Joel. And because she didn't get to do that, she was haunted by it.
Hmm. Now, Frank, what did you think about the gender roles of the game? Like,
Okay,
like, yeah, fill
so
us in on that.
we're gonna have to leave this game for a moment for y'all to see what I'm saying.
Okay.
Thor. Okay,
Thor. Okay.
Wait,
Marvel.
MCU or comic book?
comic book.
Okay.
Spider-Man lifts Thor's hammer, no problem,
Hmm.
right? Captain America lifts Thor's hammer. Iron Man,
Yeah,
Hulk.
there it is.
You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
There's this one guy, horsehead dude, Beta Ray Bill. He fit the description so much they went and made him his own hammer. Okay,
Yeah, the original Stormbringer.
right.
Okay.
We get to Jane Foster. Thor has to die essentially. He has to be unworthy and lose his power in order for her to hold his hammer. Problem. Okay? Now,
Technically, that was Nick Fury's fault though. Nick Fury did that stuff.
hold on.
He
Cause
did.
like
It
see
was
my
him.
Stop it, bro. Go
All right,
ahead.
go ahead.
now we can keep going to any other little sitcom or anything going on today. Guys are useless. If they're not useless, they're good at one thing, and if they're like the outdoors type of dude or whatever, they know nothing of anything else.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay, I follow.
Now, let's dive right back into Last of Us 2. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the first game, he's built up as I said it already. He was Danny Tanner,
Yeah, he's father of the year.
Full House Father of the Year. In this whole game, not only did you kill him off on Father's Day,
Murked him out too. It wasn't even
right?
just a regular death. It was the most gruesome way possible and made you watch it up close
And
and
try to
personal.
make you spend the whole game hating the Father of the Year on Father's Day.
Mm.
This is why I say there are better ways they could have did this. You see what I'm saying?
The crazy part about it is I literally didn't even pay attention to the Father's Day thing until Frank said it a couple of days ago. I was like, that
yeah.
was on Father's Day. Damn. That was rough.
Well, so you're saying that
It was a long ass man bashing session.
So let me just say this.
And like, don't get me wrong, like the stories, I dig the story and everything. I just felt they could have did it.
It was a little heavy-handed on that.
Right, like the transition of characters felt too forced on this.
The thing is too, and it's messed up. We had to think of it that way, and we are currently in a society where a lot of things happen where gentlemen of our species were the villain in these streets in real life. And there was a movement behind it, which has also gone over into a lot of the media that we consume. Mm-hmm. Not saying that it's wrong for it to be included, but some of the ways that they do it is just they fully villainize. And I see your point on that. Like it was for Abby's story, it was a little heavy-handed. They made Joe out to be he's out here murking people in the streets with no cause. and he don't care. He don't care about nobody's life other than his own. In all actuality, he cared about nobody's life but Ellie's. Which, as a father, Jabari, you're a father. If somebody come for Judah, what you gonna do? That's all I'm saying. I don't care about none of y'all. This is the one I got to worry about. So
it's like my thing, like my whole thing with that, right? We're okay with it in every other scenario. We were fine with it in Commando. We were fine with, Schwarzenegger ripping through whoever in True Lies for his daughter. Terminator. All of it, like, you know what I'm saying? So why here are you trying to flip the script?
Because like I said, to me, it is a Is
it intentional?
It's definitely intentional.
Okay.
It's an intentional act to rewrite the narrative of creating a strong female character, and sometimes you don't have to diminish one to make one stronger.
That's all my whole thing is right there.
That's the issue. And I understand that it happened in the past in the other direction where, to make the female character weak and the guy has to come in and save the day. But we already established in the first game that wasn't what it was, because Ellie came in and saved the day a lot. Ellie spent a whole winter protecting that man's life while he was in a coma, handling business, saved his life right before the injury that put him into the coma. So we already established that both genders are strong. So you don't have to diminish one to make the other one stronger. And the second one, they were a little heavy-handed on that.
Exactly.
I just really love and it happens a lot actually, where the goal to make, like you said, to make the strong female character, or to make the game or the book or the movie less stereotypical about how weak girls are and how we need somebody to save us, things like that. They have to flip it in such a way where it's almost like, yeah, but that's not unrealistic. We're not asking people to show women as being, that's not necessarily what feminism is. Feminism is explaining and expressing the fact that we are equal and capable of doing just as much and just as well as. Doesn't mean we're better than or anything like that. It just means I'm just as capable as you, which, like you said, in the first game, even a 14-year-old girl was just as capable and helpful and involved as Joel was. And so
Right.
to then give me this game where I'm now looking at these two girls and I'm supposed to, it's almost like having two positives make a negative, because I couldn't really, I was riding with Ellie because she's who I know from the first game. And I understood her trauma and I understood her anger and her vengeance. But overall, a lot of her decisions in this game, I was like, girl, come on now, you're not stupid. And a lot of Abby's decisions, I just kept going, okay, girl, you what? So it just made it very difficult for me to want to really ride with either one of them. Like at a certain point, I was like, man, I'm done with both of y'all. I'm riding with Dina. Like, I'm just like, this is stupid. Y'all are both stupid. Like I could not pick one of them and say, I am now riding with this character and feel like this is a character who is, you know, somebody who I can be interested in what they're going to do in the next game, because we're clearly going to get a next game because they left too many things weird and unresolved for us not to. But it just really wasn't something where I felt at the end of the game that I really sided with Ellie or that I really sided with Abby. I didn't really like either one of them. By the time the game was over, I was just kind of glad it was over. I was like,
You
okay.
know, and I understand that, and I think the thing is though, when you talk about the positions that the gender roles play in this game and how it relates to society, if you really think about it, you know how oftentimes you may hear that I mean us as guys, like we say, we often hear like men don't or men don't cry, or men don't open up. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't talk about our feelings, this and that. If you look at the game, that's exactly what happened too. Like you can look at Ellie's traumas, you can look at Abby's traumas, but when you look at Joel's traumas, this you don't know, like you don't really know what happened in those 20 years. Like you don't get a chance to really deal with, man, how did he deal with the loss of his daughter?
He didn't.
You didn't get a
Right.
chance to deal with that. You know
But
what I'm saying?
you kind of get some of him getting his humanity back in the flashback. Him taking Ellie to the science museum, him teaching her to swim, him trying to build her a life was his way of healing the hurt that he had had from losing Sarah. His willingness to have that picture of Sarah in a frame in his house. All of those things, because if you look at the first game, when Tommy tries to give him the picture of Sarah, he doesn't even want it because he has tried
It's
to
a
just,
memory of what he lost.
yeah, he's tried to just close off his mind and his thoughts. So the fact that when you get to this game and you look at the life Joel had, when you go into his house, when Ellie goes into his house to gather things, you see that he's got picture of Sarah up, he's got his good mug, he's playing the guitar, he's trying to be a human again because he had shut off his humanity in those 20 years. He couldn't think
Yep.
of how to be a human in a world where his daughter didn't exist. So you do kind of see his, you actually, I would disagree. I would say that in this game, you actually saw a lot more emotional and feeling and intelligent men than some of the women. Jesse was very intelligent, and that's why I knew he was going to die instantly. Sorry, Nancy. But he was
Yeah.
very much level headed and clear minded. And he was very much like, okay, let's just be rational about this. When you
And
deal
it,
with Tommy, he was crazy at the end, but his first thought at the beginning of the game when Joel is telling him his secrets is, I'm gonna protect my brother no matter what. And that includes me going to Seattle and not allowing my new niece to go out here and dishonor my brother's legacy. I'm not gonna let that happen. When you look at
But
the Abby's father or Owen, they all had some. The only jerk guy that I could think of really is like Manny and whoever the other one was that was there
Well,
with
because Manny was
comic relief.
the fuck boy archetype. He's a
Yeah.
fuck boy. That's what he was. Let's be real. Manny was, hey, what girl you bring over here tonight? Abby like, you brought another one home. Like, yeah, man, no, I got to do it.
Yeah.
That was Manny.
Yeah.
Manny is the one jumping the line. Nah, I'll take 2 burritos.
Yeah,
Like, I don't care about your
he was
rules.
the one who was like, you know what? If I'm gonna have to live in the post-apocalyptic world, I'm going to be.
He gonna live in excess.
I want to be in this post-apocalyptic world. But
Well,
I do think there were some very smart and well thought of male characters, and I actually felt like it was the female characters who the game kind of let them be driven solely by emotion and not logic, and that pissed me off. You had 2 pregnant characters who both kept making decisions that were not in the best interest of their children, and that goes against with what some people would say is like natural maternal instinct or whatever. Both of them were like, you know what? Let me just go out into the field because what does it matter? Like they just didn't make smart choices. Abby, not smart choices.
wait, two characters.
Well, you had male. You had male on Abby's side who was fully
Right.
pregnant.
Oh, right,
And
right,
Dina,
right.
who was like, I might be, and found out after she was out there. Mel made a firm decision. She was, I'm about to give birth pregnant. And said, I'm going to go out here and shoot people.
Go out into the field. For what? Why not? Like, I feel like a lot of the female characters in this game, they just made emotional decisions. And it made me so angry as a female playing the game to be like, really? This what y'all on? Really? That ain't how that would have went down.
To me, it made sense, though, with Abby and Ellie because it was a vengeance story. There is no rationale in vengeance. Rage and vengeance are not rational. They don't live in rational thought.
Yeah, they basically all of their decisions or most of their decisions were driven by their feelings. Where, Joe, Tommy, and Jesse and Owen, they made decisions too, but you weren't given that side of them. You were given that option to see them after they had to do something first. So you had to see what they were good for first before you got a chance to really see them.
Well, plus,
you know what I'm saying? Like Owen.
Oh, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
No, like Owen. At a certain point, he was like, "Man, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to do this shit no more.
I want to do nothing.
I don't care about nobody. I don't care about the scars. I don't want to do this
again.
Anymore.
Smart, rational decision.
Well, except for one decision. But it wasn't one decision he had. He was like, what about Mel? The pregnant girl?
Yeah.
but see,
he didn't care nothing about that baby. He's like, that's mine, but I'm out. I can't do this.
But look at the dynamic that he had with Abby. Like they liked each other for a long time, but who really knows what happened? You know, I mean, Mel was Abby's father's assistant. Protege. So it's like you don't get no clear understanding of how that happened. You just have to assume.
Oh no, it was clear. It was actually clear. Owen was not trying to be a part of this militia. We can go and find the firefighters. They were at least trying to look for a solution to this world. Abby was, Joel got to die. I don't care about none of that. And he had made his decision. I think that's what created the rift between them, because she couldn't let that go. And he was like, we got to move on. Because he understood that we shouldn't be doing this because it's not going to end well. And nobody listened to him. And he died too.
And he tried to protect her. And part of I feel like as a man, part of me protecting you, a huge majority of it is you have to listen to me. And you don't want to listen? Okay.
And
Now you out here.
the crazy part about it is when you saw her transformation, she's like, I ain't gonna listen. I'm gonna lift weights.
Man.
She pulled a full-on fuckboy move. I understand all that. I'm gonna lift these weights, and Buddy got to see these hands. I was like, what just happened?
I was so bothered by them arms. I'm sorry. It was just.
Gee.
It was.
And they kept zooming in on her doing this. Like, we get it. She's swole. We understand that she can strangle everybody in the game. We get it.
And the rock biter from the Never Ending Story.
Now here's the one of the main problems I have with our society right now. So this is a video game. We all know it's a video game. We know there are voice actors who have to do the voices for these characters. Yep. Why are you taking your hatred for this fictional character into the real world for this person who did the voice for this character?
Because people are stupid.
It just This poor woman had death threats sent to her because people hated Abby. Fictional character. I'm an actor.
See, well, that just goes to show how good of a job that she did. Because
I mean,
people, if you think about, look, we live in a world where a lot of our opinions, thoughts, and feelings are posted for everybody to see, and people run with their emotions without even thinking. So people take things to heart that ain't even about them. You know what I'm saying? Like if I make a post and I say, yeah, I just don't like macaroni and cheese. Somebody that make macaroni and cheese once a week is
because
like,
you ain't never had my macaroni and cheese. That's why you don't like it. See, what you need to understand is you gotta use 5 different cheeses in your macaroni and cheese for it to be good. And you ain't never had no good macaroni and cheese. Who was your mother? Did your mother raise you right? That's what's gonna happen. And then the first thing you'll say, first off, why you bring my mother up? Because I said I ain't like macaroni and cheese.
Meanwhile, somebody gonna comment facts. That's it. Facts. It's like we live in this world where it's like
you the facts guy.
Everybody has their opinions, but we don't respect everybody's opinion in a sense that, okay, you can have your opinion. You don't have to agree with what I think and attack me for it. It is what it is.
But see, that's the problem, because we are currently in a society of instant gratification, and my gratification has to do with my thoughts, not yours. And I don't care how you feel. I feel how I feel, and that's the right way. And that's not how it works. I have an opinion. You have an opinion. We can discuss these opinions together, and we can have a dialogue about them. But it does not mean that either one of us are incorrect, because it's how you feel. I see, like, even coming back to the game, if I had played the first game when it first come out and waited all them years like Gina did, I'd probably be just as pissed off as she is. But I played them both back to back, so I played them as one full story. So, like I said, I was highly invested in Joel and Ellie, and they bond, and his redemption story of getting his second chance with his new daughter and try to do it right, and realizing that everything they went through took some of her innocence away, and him trying to give that back to her. I was all in, which is also why the doctor had to die. And Abby, I'm sorry about your feelings, and I understand why you feel the way you will, because it's your father. But he had to die as soon as I walked into the room, because you're not taking her from me.
All right, so okay, cool. So with all that said, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna ask each one of y'all on a scale of 1 to 10 of what you expected the game to be, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, after you played the game and you went through the story, what do you feel about it now? So on a scale of 1 to 10, like what did you feel like the game was gonna be before it came out?
All right, so 2 ratings.
Right.
Yeah, before it came out and after you played.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. honestly, overall, and this ain't excusing them from doing what I'm mad at or nothing either. It was on the scale of 1 to 10. Like before I played it, like before it dropped and everything, I was honestly only thinking like 7 or something because I'm not too big on zombie stories anymore. So I wasn't really checking
Right. Okay.
and
So after.
everything. After I honestly bumped it up to about like 8.5 or a 9 or so. I still felt it was solid even with all the stuff I was pissed about.
Okay. Got it. What you got?
So, like I said, I played them both back to back. So after finishing the first game, I expected a 10. I
Right.
was like, hey, look, the first game was it. Even the side story, which gave you a little backstory into Ellie's relationship with her friend that she lost, and you really saw what it was. I a 10.
Okay.
Now,
10.
when we get to the second game, after everything, and like I said, because my relationship, my connection to it was different because I didn't have that. Naughty Dog made me wait forever. That was 6 years.
Right.
That's
Right.
6 years. So I still, even after the story and the fact that I understood what they were trying to entail with the vengeance arc of the whole storyline, I give it a 9. It only dropped one for me. I give it a 9 because it still was a solid game. I'm playing through it again right now with my unlocked weapons.
Gina.
Yeah, make me the bad guy.
I ain't making you nothing.
Listen
Yeah,
here, listen here.
yeah.
I'm
Make me.
usually the villain. It's your turn.
After the first one, honestly, I wanted to. I played, first of all, I played the first one twice. I played it on the PS3, then I replayed the remastered on the PS4, then I played the DLC, then I read the comics. I was fully in. I was invested.
Mm-hmm.
So I was expecting another 10 because I feel like the first one was a damn near perfect game. It had everything. It had
Was.
zombies, it had storyline, it had good game mechanics, it had good villains, it had a lot going on. It was a great movie. It hit you in the feels. It was wonderful. So the first one was damn near perfect, and I was expecting perfection from the second one. And I should have known better than to do that.
What you were giving
Um,
them benefit of the doubt
I was
because
I
the
was
first one was
giving them,
perfect, and then they had all that time, so you
they
was like,
had
"This got to be perfect."
so much. Gotti, they built the barn scene for E3.
They
They built
did.
the entire scene so that first of all, E3, one of the largest video game press conferences ever, every year and until now or whatever. They had the people at that event go from one venue to the other because they built the set to get us excited about The Last of Us Part 2.
And that reveal was
I mean, they
the
they
best reveal I've ever seen for a game.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And they constantly told the fans, we know how much you loved the first one. We got you. We got you. And we believed. I
Well, they
believe.
actually, what they probably, you see, you had the wrong inflection on it. We loved how much you liked the first game. We got your ass.
Yeah, basically. Because I
we
really
we
believe. I
got
was
you.
like, they have promised us they're not gonna let us down. They have shown us these clips. They have pushed this release date back 3, 4, 5 times. They must really be about to give us something wonderful. We're gonna follow Ellie and Joel on their antics. I really was expecting. I was expecting to give it another perfect 10. I was expecting for things to go belly up in their town. I wasn't naive enough to think that they were going to be able to live this wonderful post-apocalyptic life. I was expecting
What's
for
your after score?
Hey,
What is it? Don't try to break us down soft. Don't kill us softly. Just give it to us straight.
so listen, she trying not to be a villain. All right, let her keep
No,
her hero
no,
cape.
no.
You want to take the cape off and put on and turn
No.
around with the cat like yes.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Just rip it off.
from the man who rambles, and I have to speed up when I was man, like a 4.5,
Ooh.
maybe a 5, maybe.
Wait, what?
Maybe.
Say that again.
See,
You said a
maybe.
what?
Like
She said a what?
maybe a
I
5.
heard that. Maybe a 5. Ooh, she really hate this game.
Maybe a 5.
Couldn't tell from our previous conversations.
Now, listen. For once, I am so happy I am not the rogue agent this time. It wasn't me this time. I said this time. I understand. Look, I know who I am. All right.
Yeah, you are rogue Regina today. You are rogue Regina.
All I'm gonna say is
She's really not, because
and-
everything she said made sense for her and her interaction with the game. I understand why she scored it how she did.
But my experience of the game, and then, like I said, I'm a little. I haven't thought as closely about it being connected until this conversation. But seriously, go read the end of The Walking Dead, the very last issue.
I did.
And you see like what that does to Carl and who he becomes, and then you look at this version of Ellie, and you like, bitch, what? Like yeah, like a 5. I give it a 5.
Ooh.
Hey, Jabari, what you got, man?
Well, it's higher than the 5.
Look. First off, we all know that we scored it higher than the 5.
My expectations before the second game came out, I was expecting a 9. Like I gave the first game. The first game was a perfect game, but I had to leave room for the sophomore jinx. I just had to leave a little room for it, because I understand how it happens, especially with such a dramatic storyline as The Last of Us. Like, too many heartstrings being pulled. You know what I'm saying? After playing this part 2, I will give it 7.5. And it's really not because no. Well, it's not about the fact that the game wasn't perfect. Like the game is perfect as far as for me on what it tried to deliver on, and playing as Ellie, saying, like basically making you feel like shit. Saying, throughout the whole game. Like they did that perfectly. I would just have to say two reasons why I give it 7.5. One, it was a little bit over the top for me as far as violence goes. A little bit, just a tad.
It's the apocalypse, man.
No, right, but I get that.
No, it was. It's gruesome.
It was a little exhausting.
Certain sections.
It was a little exhausting. And sometimes I could be honest and say that when I'm playing games, my anxiety level is already elevated a little bit. So I ain't got time to look at this house or building that's dark on the inside, and the only way I can look around is with a flashlight. Like I don't have time for that this time around. This time around, I don't have the patience for that. You know what I'm saying?
That's what me and Frank are different. We thrive in the darkness, molded by it.
Man.
But see, look. After a certain while, I didn't give a shit anymore. I said, you know what? Let's go. Let's go.
Right now.
If you're in here, I'm coming in here to find you. That's how I was after a while. And the other reason was because of the way that the game ended. the replay value wasn't as high as I would have liked it to be. I felt like, damn, do I really want to go through this again?
Do I want to look at this sad ass scene at the end again?
like I played it on the hard difficulty, and I know you can play it through it again with all your weapons and stuff, but like, do I really feel like going through this again one more time? Now I will give it the benefit of Naughty Dog throwing in different game modes and directives like that should make it more, open the game up more, make it more experience, an experience. I may try it again, but initially I was like, after that ended, I was like, damn, I don't know if I want to go through this again. I don't want to go through this slow walking. Like there's certain parts of the game where you just have to walk. You can't even run. You just have to walk to the forest. You have to walk to the.
It's not even a full walk. It's more of a saunter. It's like this.
Right. It's like hurry up, get to it.
Yeah, little sway to it.
You can't even
little sway to it.
Man, it's like this is you can tell why you had to wait 6 years for this, because it's a whole lot of dialogue and
I mean, it's essentially both of those games were essentially you played a movie. You played movies.
Which is funny thing is
right down to the cinematics. Like the cinematics were beautiful.
When I played Uncharted, I felt the same way. I didn't want to play again. I felt like you sent me through too much.
Oh, them was my joints. I played them multiple times.
I didn't play them again. It was just too much for me.
And this is gonna sound real crazy for me to say, because the last one came with the PlayStation 4 when I bought it, and I have not played it.
The collection.
I don't know what stopped me, because I really liked Nathan Drake and Uncharted, but it was just something when I got to that one, I was like, we gonna treasure hunt again. What Uncharted was for me, was Resident Evil done correctly. I'm not Resident Evil. I'm sorry, Tomb Raider done correctly. Tomb Raider's game mechanics have always been problematic to me.
Okay.
So it was Tomb Raider with better gameplay, with better controls. I was like, if Tomb Raider was like this, I would play it more. Other than sometimes getting bored and just letting her fall off stuff so I can see how she died weird.
Oh, you think about the old school Tomb Raiders?
She hit the ground.
I used to do that too.
The most recent Tomb Raider was actually kind of dope. You play it back to back with the last Uncharted, and it's kind of a dope combination. But I see what you mean.
But see, that's what I would have to get back into. See, you giving that recommendation would make me play it, because Gina likes the type of games I like. I gave up on Tomb Raider. I was like, I'm sick of her. I'm sick of her.
What was the last one you played?
Good question. that janky time travel.
Last time you played it. She made that noise.
I mean, that was
I told you I gave up. I told you I gave up.
You gotta play the reboot. The reboot.
Yeah, the reboot.
Pretty dope.
You gotta play that one. Reboot's pretty
I
dope.
know it looked good too, but then I was like, it looked good too, and then they did a movie with the character that looked like that, and I was like, I didn't watch the movie either. I was like, I'm sick of Tomb Raider. Laura Croft kissed my ass. That's how I felt. I'm sick of Laura Croft and her little booty shorts. I'm tired of her.
Well, I'm tired of going through these buildings and open up these drawers and the closets and all that stuff and know nothing to be in them. I'm sick of that. You get all excited. Oh, there's something.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
You know what? That was the one thing. Why let me open it if there's nothing in there?
If there's nothing in there, why would you do that?
It's a drawer. Empty, dust, and scraps of paper. Right. Ooh, thank you for giving me that experience of nothing.
Right. He really wanted to get my hopes up?
If you were really looting and you was in most people's houses, you're not going to find all this ammo.
First off,
you don't know that.
It's only looting if the house still belongs to somebody. Them people was dead, Gina. And if they wasn't dead, they was walking around running or clicking.
Right, click. That's what he's doing. Shambling and
they run around. They run around blind like that, biting people. That house don't belong to nobody. That house belongs to the streets.
literally belong to the streets.
It was looting though.
This house is foreclosed. So,
I will say I did like the fact that finding the ammo and it being a kind of I need to conserve my ammo because I might run into a situation type deal. I liked how they did it because you were never in a situation where you were completely out and you were just up shit's creek.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could say 3 out of 4 of us gave the game roughly still close to a great game.
Still got an A from me.
I'm sorry, Jim. Hopefully, part 3 will get it right. And
Gina gave him an F. You got an F.
Right.
Redo the class.
I think, but it's interesting though. I think part 3, hopefully, it'll bring some closure. It'll bring a proper closure to the storyline. Because if you're gonna make a part 3, just make it a trilogy. Close it out the right way. Now, who knows what that right way might be? They might fast forward to 20 years, and Ellie might be 31 years old, and you might have to play as late. I don't know, but make it worth our while.
I say they start the 3rd game by her slitting Abby's throat. You thought I was over it. I wasn't. I came back for you, bitch. I let that time go by so you would drop your guard.
3rd game will be JJ the baby. Man, his mama early left him behind. Just keep the revenge thing going. You made my mom a single mom twice.
Can I be honest? And I said this before, and I don't know if I said it on here talking to y'all. I'm pretty sure I didn't. If it was me and I went through all that, I left my nice peaceful family and my farmhouse to go get this vengeance that's been keeping me up at night, and this vengeance is keeping Tommy up at night where he had to go limp his ass over here and fuck up my peaceful life. Abby was dead. She not getting on that boat. And I'm gonna be real with you. Lev was knocked out. I'd have killed Abby, put Lev in that boat, and pushed her out in the middle of the sea without no oars. Come find me if you survive. That's what I would have done. Keep the vengeance going. I need somebody else to inherit my pain. Inherit my pain.
I mean, I think it's
everybody gotta go.
And I understand it, but I also leave room for.
I had to go rogue real quick. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I think at a certain point, it's like, well, if she would have done that, here's the thing, if she wouldn't have left the house, that trauma would have never left her. If she would have killed Abby, that trauma would have never left her. Yeah. It was like at a certain point, it's like sometimes it requires you to make decisions that you know, and we don't know if Ellie actually lost Dina. You know what I'm saying? Well, all we know, she might have went back to the, her family was at that
Jackson.
Right. She might have just went back there. We don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like at a certain point you gotta say, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing, but I gotta investigate it. I gotta find out what it all means. Yeah. And sometimes they don't always sit well with other people, but she's been traumatized since she was a kid. So yeah. We'll see.
Because you know what? Because we never saw how she lost her original family.
Nope.
Pretty sure it was traumatic.
True. So the lesson in all this is go to therapy. Go to therapy.
Look, wait. Go to therapy and hurt people.
Right.
That was the game. The whole game was hurt people.
Right.
Hurt
Damn.
people so much that they bite their fingers off.
Right.
And now I can't play the guitar right no more. The
Right.
one thing that my daddy left me.
Yeah, too bad. You shouldn't have came all the way. You came all this way. You can't just get in a car and drive to Santa Barbara. It had to have taken you at least a couple weeks, if not a month and a half, to get from Wyoming or whatever they was to Santa Barbara. You came all this way. I'm biting fingers off.
Not only to get to Santa Barbara, but now I gotta fight some new people that I really don't care about. You are in the way. You this
Not
whole
to
new
fought
group.
all of them and did all of that just to say, because the thing is, at the end of the day, Ellie and Abby are human.
Right.
And you're fighting to hold on to your humanity, even though you want at a certain point to let it go. At this point in the post-apocalyptic world, you're like, I don't need my humanity. For what? What I need it for? But then you still have that part of you that is like, damn it. Just go. But we came all this way. I kept
Sometimes it's how it be.
waiting for them to have a conversation, and they never. I waited that whole game for them to at least talk, and they never did.
Who to talk? Ellie and Abby?
Yeah, I waited the whole game.
The crazy part is when she went to Santa Barbara and she rescued Abby to try to kill her. When she rescued her, I think Abby would have been open for the conversation because she didn't want to fight her. Ellie forced her to fight her. Ellie was just like, came out this way. Gotta at least get some blood. Gotta get a sip of your blood. That's how it's gonna go. So it's like, it would have. So here's the thing: it would have been that conversation. To me, I don't see nothing wrong. They could have put that in the game. It would have fit, and it would have given a full closure to that situation. Yeah, other than just crying, just get out of here. You let me live, now I'm gonna let you live. Get out of here. No.
Yeah, it was you stop. No, you stop. No, you stop. It was very bad.
I'm not touching you.
Yeah. And again, I'm sure that's what the third one is going to give us, because you see Ellie walk away, and you don't. It's because she leaves the guitar and she takes her pictures. You don't really think that she's going after Dina. At least that's not the impression that I got. I got the impression that she was like, all right, now I'm going to kill her for real. Like that's what I got. I'm sure some
I hope that's not what it was. I really hope that's not what it was.
I hope that.
Yeah. Sure
if they do that,
and we're like, no, she's gonna go get Dina and be like, let me let this revenge stuff die and just let it go. But I'm thinking that with Abby going after the Fireflies, Ellie still being the only immune person that we know of, they're gonna have to link back up at some point.
Circle back.
It's gonna have to come back because the Fireflies are still out there. Although I thought they were lying.
Maybe.
When we found them, I thought it was a setup. But it's gonna have to come back to them all full circle. But
we'll see.
I just don't think it's fair that I have to wait a whole nother game for that to happen when I gave you 6 years. I gave you years.
Gina, this is the industry, baby. It's all about sales.
Yeah.
We gotta do 3. We gotta do 3
years to do this properly, and you just, call your people over there, at Rockstar and ask them how they do it, because Red Dead is a beautiful revenge story. And I just feel like, call them and ask them how they did it.
Yeah,
Nah, they
but
ain't got to do that.
to call
They ain't got to do
to
that.
call the competitor and ask them how they do something. No, I'd rather figure it out on my own and steal it
Half
from
of
you.
them probably already worked for Rockstar and was like, Rockstar don't let their people go to bed at night, so I'm switching to Naughty Dog.
True.
They probably
Yeah,
already worked it.
True.
they don't need to do that because I mean, shoot, they Naughty Dog got 4 Uncharted, 2 Last of Us. They were like, look, we all right. We can deal with this
We
mixed
go
review shit y'all talk about.
right. Like it. Look, y'all, but y'all bought it though, and y'all still buying it.
Right. And you gonna buy part 3.
We had the best release in video game history. It was in a 3-day period,
Right. You'll be
and
back.
half of y'all angry about it. And the
Yep.
same people that's angry when that third one gonna come out, gonna come and play it because you better not do it to me again. They gonna buy it again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you one more chance.
So hey, look. Well, I think I appreciate this conversation, showing the similarities of basically how art intimidates reality and how it intimidates gaming and how they merge and connect with each other, and how The Last of Us is a lot of you know personal lessons that we can all take from that. So man, I just want to you know I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm glad that I just want to thank you for being a special guest on this episode, and thank you again. And just man, I really like the conversation. I'm glad y'all was able to go deep diving into this.
I've been waiting because y'all, you see, Jabari, you was just play the game. Just made me so angry. I was like, "Would y'all play the game? So you and Gina play the game so I can talk to you about it. I want to talk to my friends about the
Hey
game."
man, hey look,
I understand. Look, y'all, everybody got
I got,
lives and y'all got
I got to
sons
pick
and
my
everything.
moments.
Look, I
I got to pick my
understand.
moments.
Y'all life
Talk
ain't my
about
life.
lives. I ain't
I
beat
just
the
want the
Final
dog.
Fantasy 7 yet.
I ain't even played it yet.
He
I've
had
had
it
it
before
since
I
release.
thought about it. Right. He got it when it came out.
Like I had mine pre-ordered. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had a chance to beat it yet.
Damn, that was April. Yeah.
Well, look, as y'all have seen, I spent a good amount of my pandemic beating games.
I've seen it. Yeah, you can catch Canis007 on Twitch. Make sure you follow him on Twitch at Canis007. You can also follow Comedic7 as well as myself, Elements MC. Regina, do you have a Twitch handle?
I am on Twitch at Serenity, SerenITIYE.
All right, you can
Oh,
catch her on
here we
there,
go.
roping in some people on Last Souls and Red Dead Redemption. And yeah.
And
So,
catching some legendary bounties with my brother.
Let me tell you that watching Regina play Red Dead is one of the joys of my life. It is so enjoyable to watch.
joys of my life, shoot. I get a kick out of it.
Yeah, it's like, yes, let's do this.
Yeah. So, but yeah, thank y'all, man. Y'all can follow us. Respect My Gamers. Respect with a K, MYGAMER. You can follow us all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Just follow us. Follow along with the conversation. Stay tuned with us. I am your host, Element MC.
I am Gotti, aka Canis007.
Yes, yes.
Graphics, aka Comedic 7.
And once again, we are out, and we want y'all to understand. Put some respect on my game, and we'll talk with y'all next time.